Greetings, Jedi traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the daily trend for week 39, day 3. It is Wednesday, September 28th, 2016. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only, to support your knowledge in the market, see what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right, new day, fresh start, as they say. Gosh, you never know what to expect any day, as price action was headed downside after the numbers coming out in the last couple days, and coming into today with Fed speakers all across the board, and then eventually OPEC news really threw the market for a loop. So let's jump right in to some of the numbers here as we take a look here at the daily results. All right, again, if this is your first time joining us in the video, spend 15 minutes here going over some of the daily charts, seeking the current trend and momentum, and then where are we headed tomorrow. Not to say the price action will be in any given direction, as I never know that, but where current momentum might be now in the futures, always needing to be ready intraday for any given setup. All right, econ data today, there it is. Mortgage applications, EIA petroleum was a draw, and then the OPEC news came out limiting oil production, agreeing for that in November for the most part. The details I can't tell you. All I can tell you is it sure sent the market flying up just when you thought we were going down. So looking at the daily stats, 2 markets, 9 setups. There's our ticks for today, mostly on the NQ with 1 loss there for -12. ES1 setup, actually 2 setups. I apologize. I got to get those in. That was my mistake. I did not do that calculation correctly. I will go ahead and update that. But there it was, Ken Polcari in his newsletter this morning talking about the oil, and sure enough, we turned it right around. All right, so what does it mean to keep it simple there? When we talk about trend, obviously the trend today, this morning, was to the downside. Here we see the ES underneath the Heikin Ashi Oku. I call this synonym there for the Ichimoku cloud, but using the Heikin Ashi 5144, the T350, and a short-term T310 EMA. Get rid of all the majority of lines. I know we tend to watch a lot of lines, levels, and moving averages, but when you simplify it and you got the majority of your charts in sync, again, the better of the setups down here, but hey, you got a break underneath all the moving averages here. You ride it down on the HA bars. You have a pullback. Perhaps you bail. Perhaps you stopped out, and then you re-enter to the downside. The question becomes, at what point do you stop re-entering? Well, I don't think any of us can answer that. I think it's just a matter of give and take. Sometimes you're just not going to get the call. So you try to get the initial momentum, you manage it on the way down, and hopefully don't have to re-enter. But once you're having a question to re-enter, then it's probably best not to take the setup. All right, so there it was, ES to the downside, thinking that's exactly where we're going, as we saw the same similar setup on the NQ. A little bit choppier, long wicks today, didn't play like the ES and the YM today. But NQ, very similar setup in the morning session as the European close here. Again, rejection at the 50, and then price action broke back into the clouds for a long setup that eventually played out for the day, which here we see on the ES after a little bit of fighting at the VWAP. Volume weighted average prices we were talking about in the trading room today. Price action rejection there twice, and then broke through here. So you try again. And you try again, and eventually you got the breakout above the cloud. OPEC releases, and there it was to the upside. Nice move, and perhaps the market was exactly waiting for that moment and got what she wanted. And there it was on the crude, already having a prior setup back previously. Let me see if I had that in the chart. Nope. It was previously back here on the crude to the downside, on EIA report, on the draw, and then bang to the upside. Higher lows, and eventually a nice run there on the OPEC release, and price action obviously retraced here a little bit, giving back a little bit of that profit, but all above, keeping it simple. See the rejection there at the T350, 5144, keeping you in the trend all the way up, or opportunities to get back in as well. All right, of note here, I wanted to point out again, we've been watching that AD line, the advancers and decliners, been watching that for a long time as a market internal, matching it up, watching that on the sidelines here, again, pointing to the arrows, one on the side here, correlating to the one over here. I got an AD line indecision downside at a key number. I got a setup here above the cloud, so I want you to see that not every setup above the cloud at T350 is a go. And so there you got your 25-minute open range, you got a setup there, solid body, and you got an AD line that's no go there. All right, so you got the same similar setup here, but you got a turnaround on the candle. The turnaround is not red, it's starting to go green, so you take it, you either exit at the 25-minute open range high, or you simply, bail right there after a certain amount of ticks. It doesn't matter. The question is which one had the higher probability. Obviously setup number 2 versus setup number 1. You can see the difference in the advancers decliners. Number 3 turns itself around after reject here at the 10 on the NQ, NISS NQ, and you got the breakout below. That's right, below the 5144 and the T350. You take the short, whether you get off at the daily gap, where else you get out is up to you as far as trade management, but the entry is here underneath the cloud and the T350. Price action breaks back upside. We got ourselves another set of downside here. This was number 4, and price action to the downside with the AD line in sync as well. So there we go, tying the two together. And again, saw that in the afternoon session here as price action broke to the upside. You saw it break up here. Price action breaks back upside here, and 2, that's right, so you're on the long position here, solid body tail up, you're breaking above the cloud, you're watching price action run up, 25-minute open range low is a level that's met right there with the tick count, with the AD line reaching a key level. Not to say it's not going to go any higher, but a place that you can manage the trade or be aware of. Just brings awareness to your trend, even though you're just watching the candles to stay in the trend. And again, final setup here, final example here as price action on the NQ to the 25-minute open range. You can see once again the rejection on a later trade. I think we had the same set. No, okay, I thought I had an example there on the ES. All right, there it is. Recap of the NQ setups. Again, small move to the upside. Again, we saw that. That was the 25-minute open range with the AD line in and out. Price action finally breaking down underneath side. Why? Got charts moving down. Tried to get a runner. Couldn't get it. Tried again. A little bit further this time. Bailed out again. Probably better trade management had I stayed in here because I was underneath the T350. But that's all right. Get back in. One off and bailed out. All right, again, tough on the NQ. There were the setups in the afternoon session to the upside. Not getting a full run, just getting a piece of the pie. There was the loss. Thought we might get that going, so I'm not going to show you everything's a winner all the time. There it was, solid body tail up and did not go, so bailed there on the underneath the cloud and back upside. Again, didn't take the second entry and then back to the upside. Sometimes I just miss them, guys. Might be doing something else. Might be on another setup on another index. Not my fingers aren't all over the place. But there it is. 5 charts in sync. That's what you're looking for. All right, ES setup. There it was above the Heikin Ashi entry on the solid body tails up. And above the T310 here, above the Heikin Ashi and T350. Again, love the setup. Got to keep it simple there. And after that trade I didn't get in the books there, so I'll get that in. And that was the last ES trade for the day. All right, taking a look at the AD line. As we just saw, there it was to the downside with a nice reverse. Again, this is the NISS NYSE, not the NQ. So a little bit of different motion. The NQ, the NISS NQ is downside. And actually, moving forward, I think we'll go ahead and put that AD line up here on the charts for the recaps. But again, a little bit different price action as we saw to the upside on the NISS for the NYSE here was to the upside. It was the NQ that was actually coming down. So a little bit of divergence there as the market rolled forward today. All right, daily beak. Let's take a look at the daily gaps. Price action on the daily gaps. We closed out 3 daily gaps. Look at that nice move on crude back upside again. We'll take a look at where the 4-hour momentum is, but next open gap upside 48.56. I would love to see it run up there. But as far as the ES and the YM, again, still struggling to the downside in the big picture, but at least closing those upside gaps from 3 days ago. NQ above the all-time high zone. Fib levels didn't do so hot today as price action almost came out to close those, but we didn't close out any along the way. All right, daily trend. Let's take a look quickly at some of the charts again. We saw the crude here. There was the crude setups. Again, we looked at the chart. There was that downtrend move there. Let's get that arrow on there. There it was. Sell signal downside with the majority of 5 charts in the red. Everything else, if you could have gone to a larger time frame, probably easier to stay in instead of all the noise. But price action remaining above the cloud and the T350. Gold, not as great a move, but here there was the move, the sell signal on 5 charts in the red to the downside. Very nice. And YM, NQ, and ES, we pretty much covered there already in the first initial charts. All right, let's take a look at where we're headed and moving forward. Here we are, price action on the YM. Sitting above the 5,200. I got to go with the, I'm sorry, this is the NQ on the left. Moving volume today pretty good, above average. I got to go with the uptrend as the NQ is above the T350 as well as above the 5144. YM and ES, a little bit different story. I got downtrend pullbacks. The 50 is below the 144 at this point, but we are sitting above the T350. So that gives me the pullback here, even though those two 5144s are in downtrends, but we are sitting in between the 5200 gap, so still a little bit of indecision. We'll see if the NQ is going to lift up the rest of the market. Daily big pick 2 here on the crude. Again, we saw that support here at the 50. I got to go with the uptrend now. 50 above the 140, just about the 144, crossing upside with all that movement, that OPEC news. I got to go with the uptrend now. Gold, I got to stay, again, I've had an uptrend. 50 is still above the 144 here. Price action, even though it's come downside, showing a new momentum in a downtrend as we sit between the 50 and 200. So gold, I still have to go with the uptrend until the 5144. So uptrend pullback, but though price action in the red here now, I got to lean towards the downtrend. We'll watch to see what happens overnight. Price action on the bonds here, sitting in between the 5,200. Got to go with the uptrend as everything's still upside. Even though 50, you could still say downtrend here, but we're pretty clear enough way upside that I think we can say uptrend on the bonds. All right, 50 still below the 144 on the EMD as we saw in the ES, but price action breaking upside both. Still, I would say a downtrend pullback until price action can lift here. Watch the 50 EMA here as we found support on the mid-cap 400. And wrapping up the 6E, looking at price action here, sitting above the T3, the 50 EMA on a 4-hour chart. 50 is above the 144, and we're sitting above the T350, so that gives me a bona fide uptrend, as we are also sitting above the 5,200. And the 6J yen, I got to go with all uptrend. How does this all help you? Well, intraday it doesn't. You got to be ready in both directions. But hey, if I got a long trend, it obviously in intraday, and I got a 4-hour trend that's upside, makes that a more powerful move. You're not only splicing into the higher time frame on your intraday charts, but you're also on a higher time frame of a 4-hour chart. If it's green, it's upside. The momentum even has a higher probability of continuing trend. If you're trying to look for an entry on an ETF, then always looking for a pullback and price action on the 5144 on the 4-hour chart to support your entry upside. All right, as we look ahead to tomorrow for the economic news, as we do every day, Econo Day, there it is, GDP coming out tomorrow. Watch that overnight action. We still have Fed speakers tomorrow. You know those Fed speakers move the market. That's what they do. Yellen speaking tomorrow night, so that's aftermarket. But we got some Fed speakers mixed in with GDP. So be ready for another action-packed type day. Plus, we got end of the month window dressing coming out here on Friday as we roll out the week. As we roll out the week, starting an ETF portfolio, I'll be talking more about that next week. So look ahead, as well as if I missed any charts, feel free to check out my Twitter feed here at Trading Fibs, and you can catch more of those intraday charts as well as setups posted. All right, that concludes today's daily trend. Feel free to stop by at tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets to obtain more information. My trading mantra: one simple strategy, any market, any time frame, any chart will keep you disciplined. You can find me every day on Twitter, as you see here, at Trading Fibs. And as always, I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I only trade what's in front of me and on my charts. And as always, leave your bias at the door when trading. Hey guys, if you're interested in joining us in the trading room on Thursdays or Fridays, please feel free to send me an email, david@tradingfibs.com. Also, if you have any chart requests to see where they are on a 4-hour chart or higher time frame based on the trading strategy, please feel free to send that in a Twitter message or send it to my email as well, and we'll get that posted, or I will go ahead and mention that in my next daily recap. Hey guys, have yourselves a Blue Zone day wherever you may be. Good day, good night, and good trading to you.